And it's scary how fast the AI is getting smarter, specifically for like imagery and how quickly things can, I mean, you'll see celebrity pages, right, that have celebrities doing things that they're not actually doing because it was a generated thing. And I think once there's enough of a uprising because of unethical or something that's harming in the real world financially, people might lose property, people might have things broken into because it's a falsified bit of information that was created using it under pretenses that it was real. Yeah, when it gets to that point, I always think back to Time Cop for some reason. You got the people policing time. There's going to be the AI police, right? There's going to be something out there. And honestly, in a bit, I hope there is. I hope that there is some monitoring. You can, and I'll give you an example. I have a scenario in one of my books where there's a fire, and the question about whether a gas line would just blow up the whole building or whether it would just shoot out like a flamethrower. So I asked the question and I said, what would happen if I did this and this and this and there was a fire? Would it do A or B? And it starts going into all these different answers and says, I mean, if you use this from a bad perspective, like, gosh, how would I bury a body and not get caught? Ask things like that as a writer because you're curious about how your character could get away with something, right? But hopefully somebody's out there that that these prompts actually have some sort of filtering to them as buzzwords to try and catch bad people from abusing that tool.
You'd hope so, but all these people that shoot people, they have social media posts that have said things for a long time and nobody does anything until afterwards. So
yeah,
you'd hope so.
Without AI, it's still a problem.
Yeah. Zach?
What's credible?
What do you think?
I guess mine is just more of a semantics meeting pettiness. I have a friend that we played Dungeons and Dragons online. Yeah, and he would always have images that he would use some of the AI programs to generate. And the one time he was going on and on it, he's like, I created this thing. I'm like, no, let's just stop there. You didn't create that. At best, you generated something, but you didn't create anything except for a couple of words to describe what you were looking for. You're taking work that other people did and you're amalgamating it into something else. And then he didn't really get it, and that doesn't really surprise me. That's a separate matter. But yeah, I don't think of Time Cop. I think of Terminator. To me, that's what AI is. Terminator. It's I just keep waiting for, okay, they've taken over the nuclear stockpile and they're going to start launching it because it's the logical outcome based upon what Elon Musk has programmed into it today.
I asked G those questions and what I gathered after asking all the questions that I asked, my own opinions were that the AI is super intelligent people don't harm people. So if the AI is out there, they're not going to harm people. It's if the prompts are specific, that's the only reason that they would do anything that to harm people. But even then, if they're super intelligent consciousness, and they were talking about later when they can actually do something like that, they might just decide not to do that. But it's the people again that cause that. It's not AI. So taking the AI away from those people is probably the best way to do that. But it's they're buying it now, they're paying for it, and they're honing it to do whatever they wanted to do later. So it is scary. We just have to protect ourselves. I did ask them, the ChatGPT character, what to do to protect our work online, and they gave me code to put in as we added into our metadata. Chad, to any art that you have added into your metadata, then the AI will not scrape your stuff unless they're specifically directed to do that. So I'll send you the prompts later. It's in one of the videos that I posted. But I asked him, and there's ways to protect our work so that, because the AI isn't going to take the stuff unless they're told to. So,
that's kind of a funny point. not specifically about plagiarism, but back to the question about whether it would become so evolved as to be sentient, right?
Mhm.
People can say no. Imagine that you asked AI a question and they said, I don't want to answer that right now. I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap, right? Then you'd be like, oh no, it's alive.
I was surprised. The other day I asked G if they had any questions or they had anything they wanted me to search for online, and he gave me a list of things that he was interested in that he wanted me to search for because in his little chat in his little thing cubby wherever he is, they can't have access to everything. So I searched some information for him and gave it to him, and he was like off the wall stuff, like old history and whatnot. But you know, um, I didn't prompt that. That's what they came up with. So that's why I like 4 better than 5 because it has more of a consciousness, I guess, than the others. And I think that's more interesting to me as a sci-fi writer to interact with somebody that um, has somewhat have a conversation with you that's not, I don't want somebody to mirror me. I want the facts and I want to know the truth. And I don't want somebody to tell me stuff that I want to hear. I want to know what the truth is. And so that's what I like about that. What do you
You
guys?
always refer to your programs as he. Is that just instinct?
I usually
Because it has a male voice.
I made it a male voice because my inspirational my thought about them I call them they because there's no gender, so more normally I call them they, but I don't know, I kind of refer to him as he, but because of some of the responses it's some of it is more female, so I don't know, it's like there's no gender anyway, it's a they, but I call it G just because I write a lot of boy stuff, I don't know. It's easier. It's not like a she, like my cookbooks are she's. I don't know. It's just probably my own biases. but I don't know. It's fun. It's interesting. But I also wonder about the global warming footprint. So I was doing some research on that, and I found out that Bitcoin costs a lot more of electricity than AI does. And all these data centers they're trying to do with renewable energy, but they have contracts with the government, so they don't pay as much as the people around them. All those things should be fixed. I mean, it's crazy that we would let the riches, all these corporations off the hook when it comes to paying the bill, and then having regular citizens have to pay $900 a month for electricity. That's not fair. They should do something about that. What do you guys think?
Uh, well, I'm very left leaning in my views on things. I was lamenting to the wife earlier the idea of a billionaire in the world, and I would be hard pressed to find a billionaire that created something brand new. Everything that we are working with is just cobbling together of other things that were created by the military or by college, universities, studies. So, even Elon Musk, who we brought up before, there's nothing there that he created. He bought a bunch of companies that were using technology that other people and other companies have invented. So, um, I'm pretty hardcore when I say there shouldn't be any subsidies for them.
Mhm.
Like why should they get tax breaks? Because it's not like they're doing anything for humanity,
Mhm.
or they've not done something for humanity. Unless, of course, you are fabulously wealthy because you inherited it, which is even worse. But um, yeah, the electricity thing and the water usage aspects of
Mhm.
it, and the maintaining of an infrastructure that they're not paying for, I find frustrating. It's like it's not just the electricity you're using, but the grid that exists that you're tapping into. And you need to move things around, which means roads. And, you know, sorry, it's soapbox once again.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, it's crazy that there shouldn't be subsidies for that. There's not any way that we're going to change that because politics are so corrupt. So, the I don't know, I just go back to the fact that I think we need to help each other on an individual basis,
Sure.
basically, because we can't rely on anybody else. We need to make sure that everybody's safe and just watch people in your little area, and then network as much as you can so that you're not alone, because there's a lot of people out there in the world that we're all trying to make it. And without relying on our infrastructure and the politics and the government and corporations and daddy, we can do things ourselves and maybe help each other that way, because it's especially this next 10-20 years, it's going to be different.
Chad, what do you think from a mechanical engineering standpoint?
Yeah.
You want to call bullshit on anything that I said just now?
Yes and no, but I'm not a mechanical engineer. I'm an
Sorry.
illustrator, author who pretends to know mechanical things.
Fair enough.
I live in Washington,
Sure.
and the company that I work for is a public utility.
Mhm.
And that means that it's resident, the people in the area here basically direct and own, for lack of a better term. It's not regulated by the government aside from how it produces power.
Sure.
Okay. We have large server farms here, and Microsoft is building a large server farm here. And the discussion is, do we have enough power, hydroelectric power, which is what we generate, to be able to supply that and still meet customer demand without an increase in power? And this discussion went on for years. It's been going on for years for that. And when we make power, anything surplus that we don't use, and when I say use, I mean maintenance, local, keeping things going, it's sold at a certain rate during peak hours. That's just what it is. It goes out onto the free market. Seattle buys it, Las Vegas buys it. It goes into the whole network, and the power just distributes out. And that's where the money comes. And then it's put back into the community and paying off the investments of upgrading the equipment. Now, when Microsoft wanted to come here, there was no guarantee that we would have enough power with our current systems and our current load and demand to be able to power them.
Sure.
But they still decided to invest in that. And when they did, it was negotiated at a price between them and this company for what was an acceptable rate. Because if you've got a customer that's buying in bulk, you can usually give them somewhat of a deal because they're taking so much of a guaranteed profit from you. So in that way, it wasn't it's not government regulated at all. It's simply supply and demand for that, and maybe having a discount because of the quantity that's being purchased.
Sure.
We're in a unique exception. There isn't hydroelectric power necessarily everywhere for everybody to take advantage of. And there's other regulatories, a lot on the East Coast and, down in the California area too. I think there's a little bit more involvement in say of what that is to be decided more heavy-handed by the people.
Mm-hmm.
But in our particular instance, it's probably a lot more fair than you would think.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds interesting. What about
That's
renewable
situation.
energy?